Almost 7:45, and we are back with more talk time here on Activated Mornings. And this time, Kingsley DeFreitas is joining us to give us his commentary. Kingsley, good morning to you.
Yeah, good morning to you. Even though I wasn't going to call, I think that is topic we're discussing frustrates me to call because I pay attention to all the different sections of politics and the age, and it was amazing to hear two young people speaking about the history of politics. Dr. Gonzalez became Prime Minister, you say, in 2001. He's in office for 24 years. Couple election, we see 87, 87, 96. And as you point out, last election, the NDP, whether it is a faction or they got the majority of votes. So that tells me something. The ULP is declining in its popularity. That Carlos could tell you that he just made the scripture with one vote. Other people like Camilo Gonzalez, who is supposed to do a good job as Minister of Finance, have a weakling breathing down his neck. Somebody or people in the Senegalians are getting fed up of Val Gonzalez and the year. The indication is there. Too long in that, time for Val Gonzalez to go. It's time for we to change the leadership of the Senegalese. And is it fair politically to have one person being Prime Minister for 24, going 25 years? And we listen to the other Prime Minister speaking recently that he is prepared to go. I have two young men showing interest. One is his son, and one is trying to be Gonzalez as a clone to go to Caesar. It is quite obvious that majority of the intention are getting weary of the unity and its administration. And I heard you mention the issue of two parties, two independent parties. There's a waste of time. The next election is poised to be won by the NDP. Because there is need for a change. And change just brings success. Somebody will say, oh, how you could prove that? Well, over the last 24 years, we see some different aspects of governance and development change in the European. It's quite obvious that Dr. Friday, who you claim this morning, might not have that experience in governance, but he couldn't be in governance because he was in opposition. But if I was Friday, I would have paid attention to what took place over the last 24 years and try to copy it and make it work for me and the NDP. I would honestly like to see a change of government. I'm just wary of the ULP. Not saying that they ain't trying and they made an effort to develop civics and ingredients, you know. Maybe the whole Caribbean war last after we. Imagine Val Gonzalez is on his fifth 5 years term as Prime Minister. And the ULP and supposed to see them camera them saying 6 in a row. You don't think people will laugh after it? They don't want to know what formula Val Gonzalez is using to make sure wins 5 elections and possibly 6. Something is definitely wrong. It's either we are foolish people when it comes to election, or we just gullible to Val Gonzalez and his party politics. I want to be alive after the next election is completed. So when I could hear all the naysayers say, I told you so, and I hope you were wrong, and I am wrong. But I really want to see that change. And some people say, Mr. Samuel, nobody here, he don't vote. But you could bet your bottom dollar voting this time.
Well, I know you
Because
made.
want
I
to be
know
a
you
part
made.
of the change.
I know you declared it here before, and I'm holding you to it. I want to see your finger. I want to see a picture of the voting finger.
I want to be a part of the change. I want to be a part of history to show Vincent and the UFP that we as the electorate, the power is in the index finger. Everybody know that I admire Rav Gonsalves. And I think that he did a good job. But I remember the 2013 flood. But I remember the issue of COVID-19, the national prayer. I think he tried. But it's easier for us to try Dr. Friday than go on to Canelo or to go to Caesar. And that's my rant today, and I'll have a wonderful day. But I think it's a beautiful topic you this morning. I'll enjoy it. See you tomorrow.
All right. Have a good one, Kingsley.
Nothing to do with anything here, but when Kingsley started off that sentence with, it is easier for, immediately that scripture came to my head. I really thought that's what was going to come. And I was like, okay, let me listen.
What is the scripture?
It is easier for a camel to go through a needle's eye.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Anyways, so that was Kingsley DeFreitas giving us his commentary there. And he was talking about time for a change in government. I notice we have a call. So let us take the call.
All right. So good morning. All right. Remember, you had to be brief. We don't have a whole lot of time here. Good morning, caller. Morning, Dave. Sorry. Good morning, Dave.
Oh, I was waiting for that.
Sorry. Oh, gosh. Okay. Let me acknowledge you properly. Good morning, Dave Roberts.
I missed. Good morning. But I heard it started off. It would appear on the political issue of the day. I didn't hear what you have to say, but just based on what I heard, and you can't run away from it. It's whether you like it or not, it's staring us in our face. And the time, it is countdown time. And I just hope Vincentians are ready, prepared. And I have declared myself a long time ago. It's time for a change. Time for a change. Too long in that. Yes, the Prime Minister has been good in terms of brainwashing a lot of us. And when he speaks with that. Imagine he's speaking as though, election ain't coming. But that's his strategy. He's speaking as though he will be Prime Minister after the election again. So don't be misled. Don't be fooled by all that make-believe grand charge or whatever stroke he's trying. We have to study. We have to think about our people. And I know a lot of people suffering in the country. Well, let me say this: I am one who is suffering, maybe not in the same way. And I've been a friend of the Prime Minister at one time. I can't hear a thing from him. So you're telling me he's better than me? He's better than me? No way. Anyhow, interesting times ahead. Keep the fire burning. Is that what says no? Keep the fire burning, Roleza.
You love to
Keep the fire
all
burning.
right, Dave. But when he's saying keep the fire burning, it's for whose side?
Election day.
All right. All right. So we have a
all
right, we have another call.
Okay.
All right, caller, 2 minutes, please. Yeah.
2 minutes, right?
Oh, step in. All right, step in. Go ahead.
Right. Keep the fire. No, you want to? I hear from the beginning, like after 2001, he go in a one term. He go to 5. You think if people who go to 5 ain't going to 6 or 7, 8? That's the question I want to ask my brother Kingsley and Dave Robert. And what Prime Minister could do? More scholarship, better airport, more housing, more education, better education, more mortgages for house, better job. I wonder what will Prime Minister go wrong there, Robert? That way, who you smart? By giving them better job, better houses, better this, better that. Who are you smart there, Robert?
and that we're not going to vote him this time. You want to tell me who you outsmart? And then why you not going to make 6 and 7? After this election, after this storm, we're going to ask him to do a next storm because he look like a strong man. Nothing like you can't move him. You say it's time for you to go. We Labour Party say it's time for you to go more. So it's for the fun people. You want to enjoy yourself an election time, and we want to enjoy ourselves.
All right.
You think we're going to let all of them come talk all the shopping and come over we?
All right, Stephen.
No way, my brother. This is six term after God. And we God open, nobody can close. We God close, nobody can open.
All right,
I'm not going to tell you how to do our thing.
All right, Stephen.
Someday I'm going to keep them there.
All right, Stephen.
Okay, my God.
It's all.
Boy, Stephen say they want the man to go again after the next election. Step in. I don't know how old that man is, right?
All right, so we have another call, but I wanted to. Okay. Hi, caller. Good morning.
Good morning, you miserable people.
Us talking.
The ones with the halo, the white halo.
Yes, you guys always starting some kind of fire.
Me? How am I
You're
going to do that?
complicit to national destruction. Now, as you see this season, so I could say that. The question is a very important one. And I like the fact that you guys are encouraging that, healthy debate and conversation around politics rather than the destructive approach that most intentions usually take to pull on each other, character assassination, slander, and all of these what these things over one vote, over the fact that you can go to the polls and exercise your constitutional right for whomever you want, your choice. It's important to look at both parties' philosophy, their outlook, their vision for the development, not just for the political party itself, but for the country, because they are standing in the gateway to, our future national development, our health care, our education, our well-being, our international standings and diplomacy, and all of these long, boring talk, especially to young people. But they're very important. It's until we realize that we have to do that analysis first, in our opinion, not just on political allegiance in terms of family or, just going with the trend. Yellow is the code, hit them for 6. I am trying my best to be very neutral. But I've always, before I voted, I did that, just that. Although I grew up in a predominantly Labour family. And I always ask the question every time around, who is, in my opinion, better to lead? I look at their manifestos, and then I make a decision. And in most cases, I have always chosen Labour. Not agree everything with Labour does from a policy standpoint for the country. I'm always usually very critical of a lot of the programs or lack thereof. In my opinion, there are 2 programs that I think that can benefit our country tremendously. We have different terrains in terms of our geography. And the government had launched a program called PAVE. And this was supposed to basically help with footpaths and access ways and so on. And for example, in my community, there are 22 different access ways. 22 now, where people live reside on top of the hills or below a ravine or over a river or stream or something, and just access, good access where some people are disabled or have issues with back or foot.
All right, Sean, I don't mean to rush, but we're a little pressed for time,
Yes. So it just like that. We have to look at the policies. We have to look at the ideas. We have to have debate, healthy debate rather than the pull down. You go on social media, make a comment, and people come at you like they want to tell you about your anatomy.
Yes.
In my opinion, for the future, we ought to think about, did the ULP do what they said they would do? From employment, from an economic, from a macro or micro development standpoint, and then we judge them on that. It's a very critical election, not just on calling out NDP's code or hidden physics.
Good.
So we must make that decision.
All right. Thank you.
All right.
All right.
All right, then we definitely will continue with this conversation, whether it's today or another day. But right now, we have to go in.
So, before I just wanted to just a few things. One of the things that Sean said that I can appreciate is even though you have voted for a particular party, that you can still call them out for certain things. And again, as he said, this is one of the things that just raises my blood pressure, in that we cannot have healthy discussions along politics without you being branded or without you being ridiculed. And I absolutely hate it, right? So that is what we need to encourage, and I totally endorse that. There is something that Kingsley said about the region laughing at us if we're foolish or if we're gullible. Now, I could probably see this from two sides, right? Is it a case where persons within the region who are looking at us feel that we are happy with the ULP for the past 20-something years, and because you are happy, you do not want to make that change? Or are persons within the region who view us looking at it as a case where, well, Kingsley used, I think somebody used the word brainwash. Is it a case where we are brainwashed, or is it a case where we do not like change, or we are not comfortable with change, right? Because what we've seen in some other countries is that some governments or some parties only get one term. They don't do what it is that they're supposed to do within that one term, and the citizens of the electorate vote them out, right? It's not so much a matter of a chance of, not so much a matter of a situation of, all right, so they weren't able to accomplish everything that they said, or majority of the things that they said they were going to do, or we saw little signs of progress, so we are going to give them another chance. We did not see that with certain countries. And, and this is why it always comes back to, for me, how do persons actually vote here in SVG? Kingsley also made a mention of it's time for Ralph to go. People are tired of Ralph. And again, I will forever be asking this question until elections or even after elections. Are we voting? Are persons who are tired of Ralph Gonsalves being the prime minister? Are you tired of the ULP being in office? Because it's two different questions. All right. It's two different questions, and it's two different things that are going to influence the way in which people vote. All right. So that was just a few things that I pulled out there from Kingsley's commentary that for me is really food for thought for us as the electorate on how we are going to decide on how to vote.
All right, so let me just put in these final one thing here. One thing that is always mentioned is the number of years that the NDP has been in opposition, how they haven't been in the government, they've just been there in opposition for all this long time. But I feel like being in opposition for that length of time should be giving you the opportunity to look, to learn, to strategize, to look at what the government is doing, take note of their mistakes, take note of the things that they did that the country didn't agree with, so that when you go there, you should be well prepared. Like you've been sitting there this whole time, you should be well prepared when you step in. Like when Trump stepped in and he started work immediately. I mean, even though he was there before, but you should be prepared, because you have been looking on. You haven't just been sitting there thinking, oh, we're just the opposition. We're just going to be holding the government accountable for whatever they're doing. But you're also taking notes. You're also preparing yourself for when you're given that opportunity. You don't, when it's your turn to bat, you've been sitting down with your gear on. It's not when they call you and say, hey, your turn for bat, you're now scrambling for your helmet and you're now going for your knee pad and you are ready, right? So that's it there. And we are going to head out. Whatever other things we need to discuss, we'll do that in another segment or another day. It is 8:03, and this time check came to us by the New Haven Funeral Home.
Death is a fact of